Most men think they've got women all figured out. They've seen the YouTube videos. They've flipped through the books. They've memorized all the rules they were told to follow. But even then, she pulls back. She gets uninterested. She starts losing respect. Why does that happen? Because the advice most men get is fundamentally wrong. Women don't choose based on logic. They don't play by the rules you've been taught. When it comes to attraction, their decisions are driven by emotion, instinct, and deep-rooted psychology, not reason. It's not calculated thought. It's primal, intuitive response. Now, Machiavelli didn't write a dating manual, but he did understand one essential truth. The people who truly understand human nature end up in control. Everyone else? They're just reacting. And that's exactly what we're doing in this video, cutting through the noise. I'm about to share 5 hard-hitting truths about women, truths that most men will never even realize. These are the reasons she tests you, disappears without warning, or falls head over heels for one guy and ignores the next. For each truth, I'll give you a real-world scenario and a strategy you can use immediately. Stick with me to the end. Because once you lock these truths in, you won't just gain confidence, you'll carry it like armor. Let's get into it. Truth number 1. The more you need her, the more she questions you. Here's where most guys go wrong. They think showing how much they care will automatically earn a woman's respect. So they double text. They shower her with compliments. They bend their schedules, give up their boundaries, and pour everything into proving their love. But here's the raw reality. The more you act like you can't live without her, the less stable you seem to her. To her instincts, that kind of neediness doesn't. She doesn't want to be the air you breathe. She wants to revolve around your gravity, a grounded, self-contained man who doesn't rely on her for emotional survival. Centuries ago, Machiavelli said it best. If your love depends on her approval, she'll never truly value it. Because any love that comes from a place of weakness, she simply can't trust it. Imagine this. You meet someone new, or maybe you're already dating her. Day after day, you're the one who texts first. You cancel your plans to match hers. You always agree, always support her, even when it contradicts your gut. You're on call, whenever she wants. At first, she may appreciate how reliable you are. But eventually, her replies get shorter. Her energy fades. Suddenly, she's colder, less responsive, even irritated. And you're left wondering, what the hell did I do wrong? You think, but I gave her everything. And that's exactly it. You gave too much, long before she ever felt the need to earn any of it. So here's your move. Stop thinking effort alone equals results. Stop drowning her in constant attention. Start pulling it back. Watch what happens. If she feels relief when you're not around, she never valued your presence to begin with. But if your absence makes her uncomfortable, if she starts reaching out, trying to get that presence back, that's when you know you held power. Discipline yourself to thrive without constant feedback. Fill your time with goals, not fantasies. Never forget, a woman doesn't yearn for the man who's always available. She wants the one who can step away, not out of spite, but because he's got a life that doesn't revolve around her every emotion. Machiavelli would tell you, the smartest man builds influence by being essential, never desperate. So if you're chasing her desire, don't keep proving your love, prove your independence. Let her feel what it's like when you're not there. Let her experience the presence of a man who doesn't beg because his sense of self is already complete. That's the moment her instincts kick in. That's when she starts leaning in. That's when you earn her respect without saying a single word. Now let's move to the second truth. A woman's interest doesn't stay constant, it reacts. Falling for you isn't a one-time thing. Her feelings shift based on how she experiences you in the moment. She falls for you again and again, not because of what you say, but because of how you show up, how you carry yourself, how you move through the world, how you lead without hesitation. Her desire isn't a fixed state. It stretches and contracts like a rubber band. And the second you shift your energy, your posture, or your sense of purpose, her attraction shifts with it. Machiavelli referred to this as the instability of fortune, the idea that power is fluid, never permanent. One day, people cheer your name. The next, they turn their backs. And if you're not actively shaping how you're perceived, not just what you do, but how it feels, you risk losing all of it. It's no different in relationships. Attraction is political in nature. People don't just respond to actions. They follow the person who sets the emotional tone, who creates direction, who dictates how they see and feel about you. That's the core of your influence. Think back. When you first started speaking to women, you were unapologetically honest. You had strong takes. You didn't sugarcoat things or try to be agreeable. And they were drawn to that. Your voice had weight. They listened when you spoke. But slowly, something changed. You started softening your edges. You began agreeing just to avoid arguments. You stopped standing firm and started thinking, will this upset her? Instead of asking, does this reflect who I am? And that woman, she didn't suddenly wake up and lose interest. What she saw was 100 small shifts. Each one chipped away at the magnetism. Not because you stopped being nice, but because you stopped being certain. You confused closeness with comfort. But what she truly connects with is polarity. The moment you stop being the steady axis in your world, she no longer felt the pull. So here's the tactical pivot. Stop treating attraction like something you earn once and then coast on. It's a current you have to keep alive. Keep checking in with yourself. Am I staying true to my core? Am I still unpredictable, not erratic, but energized? Am I building a life that draws her in, instead of orbiting around her needs? Because the truth is, women aren't only drawn to safety, they're pulled in by the intrigue of the unknown. Not chaos, but fascination. If she can predict every line you'll speak, if she knows your daily routine down to the minute, if there's no edge to your presence, then her imagination runs dry. Machiavelli once said, "A prince who gains power by fortune will only keep it as long as fortune favors him." What that means today is this: if chemistry or luck got you the girl, you'll lose her the moment you stop generating that spark. So don't aim to be perfectly consistent like a machine. Be grounded like a mountain, but alive like a storm, constantly evolving. The man who keeps a woman's attention isn't the one who gave her everything at once. It's the one who keeps becoming someone new, someone she still wants to chase. Now for the third truth: women don't fall for what you say. They fall for what you stand for. A man's presence speaks louder than his entire vocabulary. You can't talk your way into being respected. You can't impress your way into desire by listing traits or accomplishments. Because she's not listening with her ears, she's reacting with her body. She's not drawn to your explanations. She's drawn to the energy you carry. Machiavelli grasped this concept better than most. In The Prince, he said, "Everyone sees who you appear to be. Only if you truly know who you are." That's not about pretending or putting on an act. It's about playing the game smart. It's about using what others perceive to inspire loyalty before you even speak. Because true power doesn't need to be announced, it's felt. Now imagine this. You're on a date. You're pouring out your passions, your career goals, your purpose, your plans for the future. You bring up the books you've read, the habits you've built, the vision you live by. You want her to see that you're a man of worth, that you're serious. But there's a catch: you're doing all the talking. You're watching her reactions, looking for signs of approval. You keep explaining, justifying, trying to prove your worth. And without realizing it, you've stepped into performance mode. Then she meets someone else. He doesn't say much, but every silence feels intentional. He's not trying to sell his ambition. He simply is his ambition. He doesn't look to her for cues. His gaze holds steady. His energy speaks for him. He's not out here trying to impress anyone. He simply knows who he is. And without saying a word, she starts wondering about him. Why? Because he doesn't explain his worth. He embodies it. He is the value. Meanwhile, you were busy explaining every detail. And that's the difference that makes all the difference. And guess who ends up stuck in her thoughts long after? Here's the fix: ditch the pitch. She's not a hiring manager, and this isn't a job interview. You're not some bullet point resume. Stop trying to prove your worth. Let it speak through your energy, your stillness, your presence. Structure your days like a man on a mission. Walk a little slower. Speak with purpose. Only mention your values if they're already obvious from how you live. Let her curiosity fill in the blanks. Let her wonder what's beneath the silence you leave behind. Because if you still feel the need to convince her of your value, it means you haven't fully stepped into it yet. But the man who lives his value, he never has to explain. And that kind of man, he doesn't just draw her in. He shakes something loose in her, in the most irresistible way. Fourth truth now: when a woman tests you, it's not to tear you down, it's to feel your strength. Most men misread this completely. They think it's a red flag, a dig at their authority, or a lack of appreciation. But Machiavelli would see it differently. In both power and relationships, a test isn't always a threat. Sometimes it's a filter. She's not trying to wreck you. She's trying to reveal something. She's asking, deep down, can I trust this man with my vulnerability, with my instinct to surrender? She might interrupt you, question your choices, push back just to see what happens. Not because she wants a fight, but because she wants to see what you're made of. Can you stay grounded under pressure? Can you hold your position without unraveling? Machiavelli once said, a man must be both fox and lion, wise and cunning. Because the man who is only good will be devoured by those who aren't. What he meant was simple: Being noble isn't enough. Expecting fairness is naive. Real power lies in knowing how the game works and still playing to win. You need to carry that same mindset when she tests you. Because not every challenge is rejection. Sometimes it's actually an invitation. She's silently saying, I'm watching to see if you're steady. Picture this. You're out with her, maybe at dinner. You express a viewpoint, an idea, a plan. Out of nowhere, she shoots it down. Says, that's dumb. Or, I don't think so. You instantly tense up. You start defending yourself. Explaining, over-explaining, trying to justify why you said it. Hoping she'll agree. But in that exact moment, she doesn't feel confidence radiating from you. She senses neediness, a desire to please. And that's a desire killer. Now let's replay the scene a different way. She challenges you, and you respond with a calm smile. You don't flinch. You don't get defensive. You stay anchored, grounded, firm, but composed. You either tease her back lightly, or you just move forward with calm confidence. The message you send is simple. I'm not here to win you over. I already believe in who I am. And in that instant, her defenses start to crack. Because deep down, she was waiting, hoping you'd finally show some backbone. Here's the move. Stop interpreting her tests as acts of disrespect. Start seeing them for what they are: checkpoints. She's not out to sabotage you. She's trying to figure out if what you're showing her is real. So the next time she pushes back, stand your ground. Keep your voice steady. Don't explain yourself. Don't chase her approval. Steer the conversation. Set the emotional tone. Because the moment she senses that nothing shakes you, that she can test your frame and you don't flinch, that's when genuine attraction begins. Now for the fifth truth. Most women will never come out and tell you exactly when they lost respect. But their actions will tell you everything. Machiavelli once said, men judge more by what they see than by what they feel, because everyone sees, but few truly understand. What that means is this: she won't respect the man who just sounds confident. She respects the one who moves like he's in control. Most guys don't lose their women because they cheated or lied. They lose them because they tolerated too much for too long without ever resetting the frame. You might think you're keeping things peaceful, but to her, you look like a man who doesn't know how to draw the line. And here's the part women rarely put into words. The moment she sees you allow even one moment of disrespect to slide, her instincts start recalibrating. It's not instant. It's not loud. But it's real and it sticks. Suddenly, she starts replying slower. Her energy cools. The warmth you were used to fades. And what do most guys do when this happens? They push harder. They apologize for things that didn't need apologizing. They explain, overcorrect, and try to win back her affection. But here's what they miss. You don't regain lost respect by being nicer. You regain it by becoming clearer. Let me give you a situation you might recognize. She shows up late without warning. Cancels on you twice in a row. Her social media suddenly turns provocative again. You notice all of it, but instead of standing tall, you make excuses. Maybe she's just stressed. I don't want to come off as controlling. So you stay silent, hoping your quiet understanding will somehow draw her back in. But it won't. Because from her perspective, you just confirmed her biggest fear. You won't even protect your own standards. And here's where things spiral. When a woman loses respect, she rarely says it out loud. There's no warning, no heart-to-heart. She just shifts, slowly acting like you're not important anymore. It's not emotional punishment. It's biology. Her instincts are editing you out. So here's the tactic. The moment you feel her distancing herself, pause. Don't freak out. Don't start pouring in more effort. Instead of panicking, take a hard, honest inventory of yourself. Have you been too easy to reach? Have you allowed subtle disrespect to slide? Have you watered down your values just to keep the peace? If the answer is yes, then it's time to reset. Not through explanations, but through decisive behavior. Start redirecting your energy toward discipline, toward your goals, toward re-establishing clear boundaries. Let her feel the shift in you. Let it be something she can sense, something unspoken but undeniable. And if she keeps drifting further away, let her. Because the moment you allow yourself to be treated like a backup plan, you've erased any chance of ever being her priority again. As Machiavelli would say, a prince who cannot lead himself will never be guided with wisdom. In other words, if you don't take control of your own values, no woman will ever respect your leadership. She might admire your charm. She might love your humor. But if she stops respecting you, that love will wither. Every time. And when that respect fades, words won't fix it. Apologies won't restore it. Only your silence has the power to shift the dynamic again. Quiet strength becomes your final play. If you're still watching, it means you've already made a bold choice to rise above the noise and start investing in the version of yourself that builds, not breaks. Now you're entering the part that changes everything. Let's get clear on one thing. This is not about chasing women. This is about becoming the man you were always meant to be. Most guys spend their whole lives in reaction mode, responding to every text, every mood swing, every moment of silence, every new demand. They overgive. They overexplain. They bend until they break, then wonder why it all falls apart. But a small number of men? They break the cycle. They stop playing the surface-level game and start mastering the one no one talks about. The invisible game. Because once you understand that attraction isn't earned through words, but through the emotional energy you bring into a room, your entire mindset shifts. You stop seeing your value through her eyes. You stop chasing an illusion of love based on fear. You stop trying to fit her ideal and instead become the man who doesn't compromise who he is for anyone. This isn't about tricks or tactics. It's about returning to your center, sharpening your vision, owning your presence. Machiavelli wasn't writing seduction guides, but he understood power. And if you read him closely, you'll see something deeper. The highest form of power is staying unmoved in a world that constantly tries to shake you. A woman can't love a man she doesn't trust, and she can't trust a man who doesn't even trust himself. So if you want to be unforgettable, don't perform. Don't beg. Don't justify who you are. Lead. Lead through your stillness. Lead through your unshakable presence. Lead with a purpose that speaks louder than anything you could ever say. Because here's the truth, she might meet dozens, even hundreds of men who know how to talk the talk. But she'll never forget the one whose presence changed the entire room. And when that man looks in the mirror, he's not asking, does she still want me? He's asking, is she even worthy of being part of this chapter? That's not arrogance. That's sovereignty. So if something in this message struck a chord with you, don't let it die out. Fan that flame. Train your mindset. Build your mission with discipline. Take control of your emotions before the world does. And above all, remember this. You're not here to be chosen. You're here to choose. To lead. To dominate your path. And that is exactly why you'll be the one she never forgets. One final note. For those who are truly ready to level up. For the ones willing to break away from the crowd and live life on a different frequency. What I'm building right now will shift not only how women see you, but how you see yourself. It's coming soon. So keep your eyes open. If this message resonated with you, don't just sit with it, do something. Leave a comment, even if it's just a sentence. Writing it down locks it in, and who knows, maybe it helps someone else too. Hit that like button if this gave you value. Share it with someone you know needs this today. Trust your gut. We're all here to get stronger, more solid, more centered. So let's create minds that don't fold under pressure, but rise above it.